Good afternoon. Happy Global Wellness Day. I'm so happy to be presenting our next two guests. We were live from Turkey and San Diego, California. Dr. Daniel Friedland. Dr. Daniel Frein is an expert on the science of high performance leadership, wellness, and resilience, the author of Leading Well from Within, a neuroscience, mindfulness based framework for conscious leadership. He serves as the founding chair of the Academy of Integrated Health Medicine and co-chair of the San Diego chapter of Conscious Capitalism. He has spoken numerous times at the Global Wellness Summit, and he has even helped co-create the Global Wellness Institute Wellness Evidence online resource. He currently serves as the advisor of Global Wellness Day and the CEO of SuperSmartHealth, where he provides keynote workshops and executive coaching to develop high-performing leaders, team, and organizations that thrive within the wellness and well-being forefront. One of Dr. Danny's favorite wellness activities is surfing with his sons, especially the days when they're visited by the dolphins. And our other presenter that we have live from Turkey, the one, the only, the founder of Global Wellness Day, Belgin. Belgin has been in the tourism and hotel industry for 25 years. Her mission is to create a physical, mental, and spiritual better world for years to come. With 16 years in the wellness industry, Belgin is the founder of Global Wellness Day. With the slogan, "One day can change your whole life." Global Wellness Day is celebrated across the globe in thousands of locations with complimentary activities on the second Saturday of June each year. In 2016, the Global Wellness Summit honored Belgin with a leading woman in wellness. In 2019, Belgin was selected as the first non-French person to receive Personnel of the Year, awarded by La Fédération du Profession de Bonpon. Not only did she take we're in a pandemic right now. Our events are live, they're within communities, and we haven't been able to communities. In that short time frame, within weeks, we pivoted. She pivoted her team and the Global Wellness Ambassadors across the world to bring this first ever 24-hour live stream wellness event. I've got goosebumps. I'm so honored to present this to you, but not only this, but that a lot of people think wellness is a luxury. Wellness is not a luxury. To Belgin, it's the inherent right of each and every individual. So thank you, Belgin, and Dr. Daniel Friedland. Enjoy.
Oh, hi, Belgin.
Hello. I love that photo of us, Danny.
Yeah. Oh boy. It is such a joy to be with you and with everybody here. Just this extraordinary event, Belgin. First of all, in my heart of hearts, this purposeful mission that you have undertaken to launch and grow Global Wellness Day is an immense gift to the world. It's just truly an immense gift to the world. And I think a big testimony to your passion right now is I understand that you've almost gone 2 days without sleep, which is, we're not advocating for that in the wellness world. But I just want to say that the amount of the undertaking of doing a 24-hour live stream is absolutely immense. And I think the fact that you're still going with just this heartfelt presence is a testimony to your deep love and purpose for this work. So I would love to invite you to share, that origin story. What is it that most deeply inspired you to launch Global Wellness Day, and what brings you greatest joy in this work, in this purposeful endeavor?
Thank you. Thank you, Danny. It's great to be with you too. And yes, I'm still going, but I wouldn't be able to do any of this if I didn't have Global Wellness Day family. Yes, I'm here with, over 40 hours of no sleep, but Hakan is in the other room, Dennis is in the other room, you're over there, Kim is over there, Celeste is in South Africa, Andrew Jaka is in, sorry, is in Thailand. So all over the world, all Global Wellness Day ambassadors and key supporters have been working tirelessly and immensely, putting their efforts to make this project that came out of a Zoom call. Actually, we were not planning to do a 24-hour live stream. We knew that we were going to go online, but the idea of 24-hour came out of an ambassador, and we didn't think it was going to be this difficult because it's not easy. I don't know if we would do it again, but now we can say that check, we've done that. It's almost over. We still have really interesting sessions to watch. There's the famous astrologist Susan Miller still has to do her session. I am looking very much forward to that. But going back to your question, Danny, other than having Global Wellness Day family and their love around me, where I find the inner strength for Global Wellness Day, I think I thought about it the other day too, and every time I think about it, I come up with the same answer. I am trying to pay my debt of my breath to the world, because I feel like I owe something to the universe. I always feel like I'm in debt. I don't know if it's the healthiest feeling. I don't know what you would think about this, but I feel like it's never enough, and I feel like I need to do more, and I need to be in service more. As much as I can, I need to share the things that I experienced and learned with other people. And if I don't do that, it's the worst thing that I can do. I don't have the right to do this. I feel responsible. There's this huge responsibility that I feel on my shoulders, that if I go to bed and I feel like, today I did not do anything for this responsibility, I don't feel good. So at least I need to do at least one thing to pay my dues. And this feeling came to me, after I got my health back, and so I don't know what kind of a deal we had with the universe or with the angels. I don't know what the deal was for them to give my health back, but uh, there are things I need to do, and if I don't do them, I feel like I will, or I might get sick again. So I have to keep working. I have to do this. There's this fire in me that is not stopping.
Yeah.
What
And
do you think?
well, I think this is such an important question. In fact, much of wellness begins by tapping into your deeper sense of purpose. Much of wellness, it's about, and I would ask each of you listening, what drives you? What gives you your deeper sense of wellness? What is your deeper sense of purpose? And you had such a powerful sense of purpose when you were, you had shared that when you were sick, you were sick to the point where you couldn't even hold your young baby. You were sick where you couldn't connect. And in that period of time, you learned what was important. You learned what was important first for your own wellness, and then understanding that once you actually claimed growth and transformation for yourself, the powerful thing of claiming growth and transformation for yourself is that we get to give it away. We get to give it away. And so, again, for all of you listening, what are you claiming for yourself in your growth and transformation that you're giving away? So perhaps, Belgin, if you could explain, you could share a little bit more about how many of us, myself included, the foundation of my work in leading well from within, was born out of a clinical depression when I was in medical school.
Mm-hmm.
So we often make meaning of our suffering, and in that making meaning of our suffering, we claim clarity of purpose, and then we give it away. So can you share more about that process? Would you be willing to share with us more about that experience for you, and then your passion for giving it away, which is, we're all benefiting from that right now on Global Wellness Day, in that way it's touching all areas of the world.
Mm-hmm. It all happened in 2004 when I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And my doctor told me that, it's really hard for you to die out of thyroid cancer, but it's not the end of the road, but it's the beginning of a new road. So it's you need to do things differently because you're not going to be the same person. I didn't know what he meant, but then I realized afterwards. So after the operation, you go through this thing called radioiodine therapy, and you need to be isolated in a hospital room on your own, and that lasted 9 days. There were 9 long days because my son was, as you mentioned, was very young, and I was still breastfeeding, and he was with me 24 hours a day. And from being 24 hours a day to not seeing him or feeling him for 9 days, that was quite harsh on me, and I'm sure on him as well.
Yeah.
After the 9 days in the hospital room, it was 2 weeks at home in a room, and this time I could see my loved ones, but I had to be at a certain distance with them. So that meant I still could not see my son, because if he saw me, then he was going to say, mommy, take me in your arms. And you wouldn't be able to explain to a 17-month-old, mommy cannot hold you now. That was going to be even more traumatic on him. So I didn't show myself to him. So I was actually looking at him under, behind the curtain from the window. So when you talk about it, I thought about that as well the other day. When you talk about it, doesn't maybe give the exact feeling like when you go through it. It sounds more simple, but maybe because I was 29 years old, maybe I was not. Maybe if I went through it now, I would take it differently. But it was too much for me. So that was the tragic part. But then something really beautiful came out of it, because I wanted to know why this was happening. There had to be a reason, because I believe that there is a reason for everything in life. Otherwise, why are we here? What are we doing here? Who are we, and what's the purpose? What's the purpose of life if there is no meaning to anything? So I tried to understand that, and that led me to reinventing myself and changing completely the way I live and the way I eat, the way I sleep, the way I exercise, and how I protect my heart, what matters and what doesn't matter in life. I understood that life was all about love and compassion, and that health was the most important gift we have, and that love and compassion and health was actually wellness. So I had to share this realization with the world, and look what happened. We were able to reach out to millions of hearts, and we still have a lot, many more people in the world that we need to touch their hearts as well. So I think that's the summary of what I went through.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing, Melvin. There's so many important themes for all of us to learn from, and the pain that you went through was a pain of disconnection, right? In a way, you were grieving for the connection with your body. You were going through the grief, but that sense of disconnection from your loved ones and how you came to love and compassion. And it's not lost on me that really kind of one of the greatest global disabilities, and it may become magnified during COVID crisis now, is depression. And so this core of wellness, which you speak to, which is the depth of love and compassion, being a core of this as well. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I totally understand the people that fall into depression. I was very
Yeah.
close to that.
Yes. Yes.
And I am glad that I did not go there. But if I had a different character, I think it would take me nothing to end up with medicines, or actually I call them, unfortunately, they're poisons, because once you start taking
Yeah.
those, then there's not really a way out there. But then if you have
Right.
to, then you have to. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Indeed.
I was able to get out of it without any medication. But I think the most important thing that saved me was exercising.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that has been my savior. That's why I think, uh, of course I have good friends. Of course I have, a best friend, but I think my bestest friend is exercising, because
Yeah.
exercise is always there. And whenever I feel down, it's the thing that lifts me up. As soon as I start
Yeah.
sweating and getting, releasing those toxins,
Yeah.
everything just changes. Like, that's for me, like, that's my magic cocktail. And I'm glad that it's not something else. It's not alcohol, or it's not gambling, or
Yeah.
it's not things like that. But that's why I think I'm addicted to exercise. That it helps me to stay happy.
Yeah. 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 So, what I want to do is just, invite a pivot over here for, as Belgin has shared a story, I want to invite, all of you listening to deeply reflect for yourself. When do you feel most alive and well? When do you feel most alive and well? Just think of times when you're just at your best, most energized, most connected, most purposeful, vital and alive, living at your best, where you're actually, in the, yes, I served in leadership in the Academy of Integrative Health and Medicine, where actually they say also that love is the greatest healer of all. The mission statement, or the definition of optimal health and wellness for the Academy aligns with the World Health Organization's definition of optimal health and wellness. And they define this as optimal health and wellness is the conscious pursuit of the highest level of function of the physical, mental, emotional, social, spiritual, and environmental aspects of human experience, resulting in a state where you feel fully alive. The revelation is that results in a condition of well-being, regardless of the presence or absence of disease. So I want to really encourage you all to think of, when do you feel most alive? When do you feel most alive? And what are you connecting to? What are you connecting to when you feel most alive? What are you connecting to when you feel most alive? And allowing that to serve as the source of inspiration. Sometimes, wellness can occasionally feel like a chore, like you need discipline to go out and exercise and to get the discipline of doing all of this. But when you connect with what makes you feel fully alive and feels enlivened, it becomes an invitation. It becomes an invitation to deeply love yourself. And when you're in that space, then we have the capacity to really lead well from within and then lead well in the world, to support others in their growth, and experience of wellness.
I think that's a great question to the viewers that they can ask to themselves, and they can actually maybe send the answers using Global Wellness Day hashtag, and we would love to collect those answers. So that was a good call, Danny. Talking about leading well from within, you've written the book called Leading Well from Within, and I want to ask you why this title and why is it so relevant to us at this time on this day?
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, leading well from within, first of all, is it's a science and practice of conscious leadership. But specifically, the title is that for us to lead well in the world, the first place we need to know how to lead is how do we lead well inside ourselves? And I shared that this work was born out of the depression I had in my medical training. And so I really began to understand that if I was going to lead well inside myself and then have something to offer the world, I would fundamentally need to know how to navigate stress, uncertainty, and self-doubt to be able to focus on what really matters most, in the life and my capacity to elevate the lives of others. So I became insatiably curious about the science and practice of this. I became insatiably curious about that. And I think one of the things that's quite helpful in clarifying kind of why it's so important right now is to somewhat understand really a kind of a simple aspect of the brain science around this in terms of what that leading well from within, experience is. And in very simple terms, the brain, there's an evolutionary model of the brain where the brain develops from the bottom up and the back forward. But in very, very simple terms, the evolutionary structure of the brain maps to Maslow's hierarchy of needs at the levels of safety, belonging, and significance. So our highest cortical circuits gives us the capacity for high performance conscious leadership. And by the way, that word conscious leadership comes from the conscious capitalism organization. And this is a big international organization, founded by companies like Starbucks, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Best Buy, Patagonia. And I think many organizations in the wellness space are truly conscious capitalist organizations. And they understand these organizations, all of these for-profit and non-profit organizations understand that the greatest capacity for social transformation comes through the organizations that we're in. And their mission statement of conscious capitalism is we exist to elevate humanity. We exist to elevate humanity. That's a big, tall order. They run off 4 tenets. First tenet is higher purpose drives. And that's why I asked you your story about your purpose, because that drives, higher purpose drives. And then it is making sure that all stakeholders in the ecosystem, all stakeholders are well accounted for. And that's why this aspect, more now than ever, which is really coming to think about how do we all remove the burden of oppression and discrimination wherever you can find it, so all stakeholders are valued equally. All stakeholders are valued equally. And then it's about conscious leadership that drives conscious culture and a thriving environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's ultimately, it's the ability for conscious leaders. And we're talking here about, the title of our talk is, what does it mean to create a spreading of wellness contagion? So it's really conscious leadership that creates the conscious culture, the healing cultures of well-being in our organizations and our families or our communities,
Mm-hmm.
society at large. So that's the work that I become super interested in. And when you look at the brain mapping against Maslow's hierarchy of needs, what we begin to understand is this work of conscious leadership, the work of elevating humanity is Maslowian. The work of elevating humanity is Maslowian. So it invites conscious leadership in terms of what does it mean to lead from our higher selves? What does it mean for each of us to lead from our higher selves? And when you look at the layers of Maslow's hierarchy of safety, belonging, and significance, what does it mean to create a greater sense of psychological safety within yourself? What does it mean to create a greater sense of psychological safety within yourself? What does it mean to create a greater sense of inner connectedness through self-compassion? And what does it mean to actually kind of focus more fully on purpose in terms of how you can elevate yourself and kind of lead from your best self? And so that aspect of conscious leadership maps against the wellness experience. Ultimately, when we're involved in wellness, when we're healthy and well, whether this be within ourselves, within our families, within our communities, within our businesses and organizations, or within society at large, conscious leaders are invested in creating environments of psychological safety. Conscious leaders are invested in creating communities in which everybody experiences love and belonging. I'm so mindful
Which is
of
vital
we're
for
in a time
loyalty.
exactly with loyalty, but I'm also very aware that we're in a time where we've really become hyper aware about systemic discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot rise until we actually address that to create communities of love and belonging so we can work in creating, manifesting together. And then the work of conscious leadership gets into that. When we're speaking about creating a wellness contagion, it comes down to the definition of leadership. It comes down to the
I
definition
love
of
it though.
leadership. Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. Well, this definition, and I see you, Belgin, as
Contagion of wellness.
a contagion of wellness. But let me share with you. I see you as the model of conscious leadership. I see you as the model of conscious leadership. And let me explain kind of what this, the definition of leadership is. My favorite definition of leadership is an act of influence. It's an act of influence. So I want you to all think about where you already have influence in the world. So what you'll do in reflection, you'll reflect that you not only have influence, let's say, in your business, you have influence in your family, in your groups of friends, in so in society, where if you put in a Facebook post, you have influence. So in other words, leadership is not a role, it's a way of being. And this other insight in terms of leadership being an act of influence is we are wired to connect. So you cannot not have influence. You cannot not have influence. And the only question we have to ask ourselves is, in terms of, are we having positive influence in our environment or negative influence in our environment? And that's the spreading contagion. So leadership development is an act of awakening. It's an act of awakening to the leadership influence you already have wherever you stand. Wherever you stand. Now, here's the other thing about leadership and why purpose is so important in this. We have many leaders in the world right now that have tremendous influence, but it's not necessarily for good, right? So for leadership influence to be meaningful, it needs to be tethered to noble purpose. It needs to be tethered to noble purpose. So ultimately, when you're thinking about conscious leadership, It is the capacity to influence the character and behavior of others, ultimately for good. Ultimately for good. And that's why I see you as a model of conscious leadership. The noble purpose that you have of making meaning of your journey and discovering into the heart that the heart of this is love and compassion. The heart of this is love and compassion. And the inspiration of you wanting to create Global Wellness Day that will survive our generations, will continue to grow and expand, is through your leadership and through the leadership of many ambassadors, supporters, and every single one of you listening today, every single one of you investing and listening today. We are part of a movement. We are part of a movement in which you're all leaders wherever you sit. Part of a movement creating a wellness contagion. And it's so important because of the immense suffering right now in the world through coronavirus contagion and painful unrest with injustices across many societies, that ultimately we can meet this with conscious leadership and the spread of wellness contagion.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you. You are someone that has seen me being very, very happy with Global Wellness Day, and you've even seen some tears of mine as well.
Yeah. Yes.
So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for always being there as Global Wellness Day advisor, because you are the person that I go to when I feel lost. And I am thankful in the name of all Global Wellness Day ambassadors and key supporters that you're there for us, and your presence and your knowledge, your experience is vital for the success of Global Wellness Day, because yes, I might be leading Global Wellness Day, but as a leader, sometimes you can be like, that level can be very lonely.
Yes.
I'm sure you know what I mean by that. And
Yes.
Sometimes you don't know where to go to and who to ask and have a mentor. And I'm so glad that you're there. So if Global Wellness Day is successful, your part is huge in that. So thank you very much, Danny.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome, Belgin. It is just the deepest honor. And again, what you've just shared is the model of conscious leadership, and that is that this is, the real, authentic work of conscious leadership is humility with fierce determination. And ultimately, your act of drawing strength from loving service, just drawing strength from loving service, is what gives you the fierce intensity. So thank you for sharing and being real. And by the way, in my leadership, I go through those same experiences. So if any of you are leaders, or and you sometimes find yourself being lost, I just want you to kind of just feel and just appreciate just how normal it is. But one of the things that I have an adage that I find, for me, the root of the word health is wholeness. The root of the word health is wholeness, which is wellness. And when I feel at my best, I feel a sense of being at home within myself. And that's when I feel in my heart of hearts that I'm connected with openness, kindness, and curiosity to something bigger than myself, to being in service of kind of a spirit, this mysterious collective spirit that moves through us, that we call by different names. For me, it's my, I feel connected to God in this work. And so for me, I have this adage that I vow to live my life from home. And when I get lost, and I feel lost often, to find my way back and to inspire others to live from home too. And I wanted to share with you just what has been the greatest joy to be in partnership with you. It's an absolute honor and privilege to share in this work with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny. And that sentence, feeling home with yourself and going back to it
Yeah.
when you're lost, that's that's a stage in life. Once you reach there, you can't go back
Yeah.
because now you know differently. And
Yeah.
I don't know if our viewers at the moment, if they are all at that stage, but it's really like when, like I said, when you're there, you can't go back because now you know very differently, and you can't
Yeah.
unlearn what you have learned.
Yes. Yes.
And it just feels great for me as well to feel home with myself
Yeah.
instead of trying to search for it out somewhere because it's not there.
Yeah.
It's not there, right?
And- yeah, exactly. And so there's the inner home, and then there's, the other metaphoric home that we've created. And I'm just I feel so much awe and inspiration in terms of what you're facilitating in creating, holding a home for the global wellness community. I'm thinking of everybody who's listening and engaging in this, and it's part of this collective movement where we're all part of lifting each other up, elevating humanity, and it's really profound to think about how we each have a home within us, but we have this larger home within the Global Wellness Day community, where we're all connected in this aspiration together.
But we can find that home outside because we did find our home inside. That's how I look at it. Because then you feel like you need to be in service. I was not thinking like that before 2004. I didn't feel
Yes,
the need to give,
yes,
because I think human as mankind, we're so used to taking, and when it's about
yes,
giving, we usually think twice. But once that deal gets into a balance, then the usually I think the reaction of mankind is okay. Now that it's in balance, I actually want to give more than I take because the more I give,
wow,
I actually do take even more.
wow. Belgin, what you've just said is so incredibly powerful to actually speak into what it means to truly create a wellness contagion. What it means to create a wellness contagion, because when you come back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the way the flows work in the brain is when demands exceed resources, we go down into a stream of threat response with stress, and we go down into a realm of safety and reactivity. And reactivity. On the other hand, in conscious leadership, can we move up the hierarchy, feeling safer, love and belonging, and really reconnecting with purposeful significant into a creative mindset? So we oscillate between this frame of reactivity and creativity in our lives. But because we are wired to connect, we don't only experience reactivity or a creative mindset within ourselves. We exist in cycles of reactivity and cycles of creativity in our relationships. And the cycle of reactivity is a very sticky and prevalent cycle because it's working on very powerful survival circuits. And it's a cycle of fight, flight, trigger, fight, flight, trigger. And we're seeing so much of that destruction in the world right now. When people come to us as being edgy, it triggers somebody else's stress and self-doubt. They get into their fight and flight, triggering back into that cycle of reactivity, and that goes into the networks with spreading contagion of fear. The fear of contagion results in a spreading of fight and flight in the world. On the other hand, the cycle of creativity is something different. The cycle of creativity is something different. It's fundamentally a cycle of being able to receive and give love with another. It's the cycle of being able to receive others with deep empathy and understanding and give with authenticity and care. And so in very, very simple terms, we're looking at sometimes when there's no awareness, there are reactive spreading contagions of fear in the world, and they spread in terms of even to the point of going to war. They spread the fear of. On the other hand, when we're able to rise and create psychological safety within ourselves, a deeper sense of connection within ourselves, and then be on purpose, where we feel whole and at home within ourselves, we are more able to receive and give with each others and create and be a part of creating a wellness contagion in the world. So what you're saying is so profound in terms of your sense of wanting to receive and give love in the world. And this enables us to, when somebody comes at us edgy, instead of being triggered by it, when you're at your higher self, we begin to ask a different question. We begin to ask, what is the suffering that's causing this reactive response?
Exactly.
Enabling us to receive somebody more deeply and then give, instead of our reactive response of saying you're a jerk, to give concern, and with that cycle and quality of receiving and giving love with each other, that's what it will take to heal the world.
And welcome with compassion.
Yes. Yeah.
I think this is a great message that we can give to our viewers, and we can ask them to reflect today, which is actually a great day to do that, because our slogan is one day can change your whole life. And actually today can be the day if they wanted to do any kind of change in themselves, in their lives. So I hope this conversation can be an inspiration for everyone to help the world to be a better place, so we can leave it in a better condition than we found it. So,
Yeah.
Danny, I want to thank you and ask you if you have one more last thing to add, and then I think we should conclude.
Wrap up.
And I don't know what we have next, but I know that our
Yeah.
next guest is waiting.
Yeah, I would love to share something else, because you invited something very important at the end, which is reflection. So I want to just leave you with thinking about, something about that will be massive to your ongoing growth, learning, and transformation on this journey. And that's the importance of reflection. And so there's something called an active learning cycle. And that is, there are 3 parts of the active learning cycle. The first part is necessary. There's content, and you've had an experience over here. Content and experience, and that's a very necessary part of change and transformation. But here's the thing. Content and experience alone doesn't create change. And the evidence for that is history repeats itself. What does create change? So content and experience doesn't create change. What does create change is the metabolism or digestion of that content in high quality reflection. So making time after the session, but throughout your day for high quality reflection on the experiences, around the experiences that you're having. And then through those insights, to take effective action. So thinking about what have you learned now where you can meaningfully act to do something, to change your life and the lives of others around you. And then that leads to a new experience. So ultimately, when you look at the active learning cycle, the most important skill to support your learning and growth is learning how to learn. And the active learning cycle will support your growth and transformation if you understand that the experiences you have lead to reflection and actions. And when you keep doing that in a virtuous cycle, allowing yourself to metabolize your experiences, take wise action, and refine that, it's an upward spiral of growth and learning. So I wish you well on your continuing journey. Wish you all well on your continuing journey of wellness and well-being, and your capacity and your evolving capacity, your continually unfolding capacity to support the wellness and well-being of others.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Danny. And thank you very much for all that you do for our industry, for the world, and for Global Wellness Day. And I hope our viewers have enjoyed our conversation. And yes, we will be hoping to receive answers with Global Wellness Day hashtag as to what they will be changing in their lives and what kind of inspiration they got from this conversation. So, thank you very much, Danny. Much love.
Thank you very much, Belgin. Much love to you too.
Happy Global Wellness Day.
Happy Global Wellness Day, and much love to all of you listening, and happy Global Wellness Day. It's just incredible to be part of this phenomenal celebration. Thank you, Belgin.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny.
It's Global Wellness Day!
Today is Global Wellness Day and Daybreaker.
I am awesome. Everyone say I'm awesome.
I am.
Yes, you are. I am awesome.